The numbers are in. Japan's population has dropped below 120 million for the first time in decades, marking a historic turning point for the nation. This isn't just a minor fluctuation, it's a dramatic shift that's sending shockwaves through Japanese society and beyond. And the decline is accelerating, with each year bringing steeper drops and more visible consequences. The once bustling streets and neighborhoods are growing quieter, and the effects are impossible to ignore. This isn't just a statistic. It's a quiet crisis reshaping one of the world's most advanced societies. The aging population is putting immense pressure on healthcare, pensions, and the younger generation left to support them. Empty schools, shuttered shops, and a shrinking future are now Japan's reality. Rural towns are fading away, and even major cities are feeling the impact as businesses close and communities shrink. But this story isn't just Japan's anymore. The demographic crisis is spreading, and its lessons are becoming increasingly relevant for the rest of the world. Europe is hearing the same demographic alarm. From Italy to Germany, towns and villages across the continent are experiencing similar declines, with young people leaving and birth rates falling. What once seemed like a distant, uniquely Japanese problem is now a preview of Europe's own future. The headlines are growing more urgent, and families are starting to feel the effects in their daily lives. Birth rates across Europe have plummeted to Japanese levels or lower. Hospitals and schools are seeing fewer new faces, and the population pyramid is turning upside down. The continent is aging rapidly, and the warning from the east is now urgent. Societies must adapt quickly to care for their growing elderly populations. Japan's experience is a roadmap of the dangers ahead: economic strain, social stress, and the challenge of maintaining growth with fewer workers and consumers. And a slow hollowing out from within threatens the very fabric of communities, as both countries and continents grapple with the consequences of demographic decline. The question is no longer if Europe will face this crisis, but when and how severe it will be. The window for easy solutions is closing fast. For policymakers, Japan's struggle is a crucial lesson. The time for observation is over. Collaboration and bold action are needed to avoid repeating the same mistakes. The time for action is now. The choices made today will shape the future for generations to come, not just in Japan or Europe, but across the entire developed world. In 2025, Japan recorded fewer than 700,000 births, a record low, marking a significant demographic shift that has been years in the making. This decline in birth rates is a reflection of broader societal changes, including economic pressures and shifting cultural norms. Meanwhile, deaths continue to rise, outpacing births and contributing to a rapidly aging population. The result is a nation losing hundreds of thousands of people every year, leading to a shrinking population that impacts every aspect of society. Over a third of Japan's population is now over 65. Children under 15 make up just 11%. This imbalance creates challenges in sustaining social services and educational institutions. The countryside is dotted with ghost villages, places where only the elderly remain, and entire communities vanish as they pass away, leaving behind empty homes and memories. Nearly 900 municipalities could disappear by 2040, a stark reminder of the urgent need for revitalization efforts. This isn't just about numbers, it's the erasure of local cultures and traditions, as festivals and community events see dwindling participation. The shrinking workforce means fewer people to produce, serve, and pay taxes, affecting the economy at its core. Companies struggle to find workers, capping economic growth and straining social security systems as the demand for labor remains unmet. With fewer workers and more retirees, the system is unsustainable, leading to increased financial burdens on the younger generation. The government borrows more just to keep up with these demands, increasing national debt and financial instability. Young people feel the pressure of supporting the elderly, while the elderly worry about care and isolation, creating a cycle of stress and concern. The sense of community is weakening as fewer people are available to participate in and support communal activities. Japan, once an economic superpower, now faces a slow, quiet decline from within as it grapples with these profound demographic challenges. Europe once saw itself as different from Japan, more open, more dynamic. But now, Europe is staring into Japan's demographic mirror, and the reflection is alarming. The fertility rate needed for stability is 2.1 children per woman. Japan's is 1.2, and Europe's is just as low. Italy, Spain, Malta all have fertility rates below 1.3. Even France and Sweden are seeing sharp declines. Europe is aging at record speed. By 2050, over 30% of the EU will be 65 or older. The workforce is shrinking, and the population pyramid is top-heavy, just like Japan. Rural Europe is emptying out, with young people fleeing to cities. Schools close, shops shutter, and communities hollow out. The social and economic consequences are identical. Europe is 15-20 years behind Japan, but on the same path. Economic stagnation, strained social systems, and hollowed-out towns are looming. The mirror shows Europe's future unless it acts. An aging, shrinking population sets off a domino effect. First, the economy, fewer young workers mean chronic labor shortages and stunted growth. Germany and Italy already face critical shortages in key sectors. Fewer workers also mean fewer taxpayers, while retirees needing pensions and healthcare multiply. Governments face impossible choices: higher taxes, service cuts, or ballooning debt. Japan's debt is now over 260% of GDP. Europe is heading the same way. Public services strain under the weight of elderly care. Healthcare systems buckle, with longer waits and rising costs. Communities lose vitality as risk-taking and innovation fade. Young entrepreneurs struggle, and markets shift to serve the old. The energy that drives change is fading from Japan's ghost villages to Europe's quiet towns. This is the slow erosion of a nation's vitality. Why are people having fewer children? The answer is complex. Economic pressures are huge. Raising a child is expensive, housing costs soar, and stable jobs are rare. For women, the motherhood penalty is real. Balancing work and family is often impossible. In Japan, long work hours force women to choose between career and family. In Europe, lack of childcare pushes mothers out of the workforce. Cultural shifts matter too. Marriage is no longer mandatory, and individual fulfillment often takes priority. Many young people delay or forgo children, choosing careers, travel, or personal goals. This isn't selfishness, it's a rational response to modern pressures. There's also a crisis of confidence in the future. Economic uncertainty, climate change, and instability make parenthood feel risky. Many worry about the world their children would inherit. When the future looks bleak, hope gives way to hesitation. All these factors, economic, cultural, psychological, combine into a perfect storm. The result: birth rates keep falling. Governments haven't ignored the crisis. They've tried everything from cash bonuses to tax breaks. Japan offers childbirth bonuses and child allowances. Hungary forgives loans for families with 3 kids. France has generous family benefits, but the results are disappointing. Money alone doesn't solve the problem. Financial incentives may cause a brief bump, but don't address daily struggles like childcare, work inflexibility, or housing costs. It's a small bandage on a deep wound. Some countries turn to immigration to fill labor gaps. Germany and Sweden have welcomed many newcomers. But immigration is politically sensitive, and integration is challenging. Japan resists large-scale immigration. Europe faces backlash and tighter borders. Relying on immigration alone isn't a sustainable fix. Most policies have been too little, too late, tinkering at the edges without real change. Work culture remains punishing, childcare is inadequate, and housing costs soar. Deep structural reforms are missing. The demographic decline continues, almost untouched by policy. To truly grasp the human cost of population decline, look no further than Yubari, Japan. Once a thriving city of 100,000 people, it now has just 7,000 residents, and half of them are over the age of 65. The streets that once bustled with life are now quiet, echoing with memories of a more vibrant past. Abandoned buildings line the streets, their windows dark. Schools have merged or closed entirely, and the city was forced to declare bankruptcy. The infrastructure built for a large population now stands mostly unused, a stark reminder of what's been lost. The few young people who remain face the daunting task of caring for an aging community, often with limited resources and little hope for change. Many feel the weight of responsibility, knowing that their hometown's future rests on their shoulders. Yubari's story is a powerful warning. Vibrant communities can unravel with surprising speed, leaving only memories and empty streets behind. Across Japan, hundreds of towns are quietly vanishing. It's not war or disaster causing this, but the relentless force of demographic change, aging populations, and falling birth rates. Now let's turn to Candela, Italy. This picturesque town once had 8,000 residents, but today only about 2,500 remain. The decline is visible everywhere, from empty homes to shuttered businesses. Young people have left in search of jobs and opportunities elsewhere. In a desperate attempt to reverse the trend, the mayor even offers cash incentives to attract new families, hoping to breathe life back into the town. But these are only temporary fixes for a much deeper, more complex problem. The heart of the community continues to fade as more people leave. Yubari and Candela are not isolated cases. They're snapshots of a future that could soon face thousands of communities around the world. Population decline isn't just a statistic, it means losing neighbors, seeing beloved bakeries close, and watching playgrounds fall silent as children disappear. It's a slow, painful hollowing out of community life, where each empty bench and closed shop tells a story of loss. These towns are on the front lines of a growing crisis, living proof of what happens when populations shrink and communities age. They're the canaries in the coal mine, sending a clear warning to big cities that they, too, are not immune to these changes. The fate of Yubari and Kandala stands as a stark warning to us all, reminding us that, without action, any community could face the same silent streets and fading memories. Europe stands at a crossroads. Follow Japan into stagnation, or choose a new path. The solutions are clear, but require bold action. First, make raising children easier and more affordable. Universal high-quality childcare is essential. Treat childcare as public infrastructure, not a private burden. Pair this with flexible work arrangements, paid parental leave, part-time options, and an end to punishing work hours. Address economic anxieties, build affordable housing, control rent, and reform pensions. Invest in automation and AI to offset labor shortages and boost productivity. Immigration must be managed smartly, legal pathways for needed skills, plus robust integration. This isn't about open borders, but pragmatic population management. Honest public conversations are needed about demographic realities and the benefits of immigration. Europe must act now, before the window closes. The future depends on it. Japan's story is Europe's final warning. The crisis is here. Low birth rates and rapid aging are reshaping the continent. Demography is slow to change. Today's choices shape the next 50 years. Without action, Europe faces shrinking economies, collapsing welfare states, and diminished influence. The social and political fallout could be severe. Inequality, unrest, extremism. This isn't a problem for half measures or short-term fixes. It demands long-term vision, bold strategy, and leaders willing to make tough choices. Supporting families must become a collective responsibility. The challenge transcends politics. It's about the survival of communities and ways of life. The path forward is hard, but not impossible. Europe has the resources and knowledge to build a sustainable future, but it must act urgently before the silent tsunami hits. The future of a continent depends on what happens now.